The Nasarawa State Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Development has distributed 4,000 bags of wheat flour to women across the 13 local government areas of the state. The items were donated by the Federal Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Development. The state governor, Abdullahi Sule, while flagging off the distribution, urged women groups to ensure equal and fair distribution among the vulnerable members in the state.
So I know that these items are going to go directly to those who need it. There are a lot of us that God has already blessed with the opportunity to afford what to buy. So one of the reasons why I decided to come here by myself, really, is to appeal to these associations. Because many times when items like this are shared, a lot of these items end up being back in the market. And that is not the idea. The idea is that there are a lot of people, especially during this festive season, who require items such as this. But unfortunately, they can't afford, so they stay hungry. So the idea is that even if you are taking on behalf of your association, as long as you can afford, please show leadership. Go and share all of them to those who need it and keep none for yourself.
Accordingly, my ministry has received almost 4,000 units of 5 kilograms of the flour distribution to our women in this regard. Accordingly, we have allocated the flour to various women groups and associations, as well as the local government and development areas of the state for onward distribution to women in their localities. Permit me, Your Excellency, to stress that the target beneficiaries of this gesture should include largely the aged, poor, indigent, vulnerable widows, less privileged, and widows and women with disabilities.
This woman is among the vulnerable women benefiting from this gesture of the government and optimistic it would reduce hunger in her home.
It helped me very well because I'm on the mission, no food to eat. This will enable me to eat and it enable my children to eat. So give him the glory. Pray that God will help us.
As this governor has come inside, so we thank God for all that has been done.
The food items donated would go a long way in curbing hunger among the vulnerable, especially at this time when the country's economy is in recession. 300 orphans and widows have benefited from the palliative distributed by the Nasarawa State First Lady, Silifat Abdullahi Sule. The orphans and widows were selected randomly from the 13 local government areas of the state. Rice, wheat, exercise books were among the items distributed to the beneficiaries.
Last 4 years ago, my dad fell ill for almost 3 years, and then he was taken to hospital. Then out of financial he died because there's not enough money to sponsor on him. So from there, things has not really been easy. It is just God. We've been eating from hand to mouth, which is at times we eat 1 square meal in a day, and it has not really been easy. As an orphan, I fell over gladly within me. There's this joy that comes to me because it is an arm of God.
We thank God for everything. God is taking care of us. So we're happy. Whatever any situation you see us, we have to turn to God. So we don't have anything to say. What God do to us, we're happy. And then we're just happy to what our mother called us to come and collect today. Especially that we are Christian. Those items that she give us, we give our children, and with our own for widow, we prepare for them for Xmas this period.
The primary mission of population and housing census in Nigeria is to provide data for policy making, evidence-based planning, and good governance. The government at all tiers, researchers, and the academia, civil society organizations, and international agencies usually find these sets of social demographic data useful in formulating developmental policies and planning. Nigeria held its national population and housing census in 2006 between the 21st and 27th of March. The 2006 census figure had a total of 140 million people. The census was designed to collect information on the quality of the population and housing under the following broad categories: demographic and social, education, disability, household composition, economic activity, migration, housing and amenities, mortality and fertility. It is time for another enumeration area demarcation, and the National Population Census in Nasarawa State is organizing the stakeholders awareness workshop and flag-off ceremony of the training of functionaries. The essence is to sensitize the people of the state on the need to participate in the exercise and accord the functionaries the needed cooperation. This exercise would form the basis for future census.
Today is the flag off of this program, 9th of December. His Excellency will flag off this program with this advocacy outreach to the traditional rulers and local government chairmen. Thereafter, the commission will train ad hoc staff that have been identified to carry out this exercise. After the training of the ad hoc staff, we will reach out to the critical stakeholders in Kokona local government and Nasarawa local government to carry out an advocacy outreach that will tell our people the essence and the importance of this exercise.
But the Nasarawa state government feels that the state was shortchanged in the last census figure, given its current population and nearness to the Federal Capital Territory.
I want us all to understand the importance of census, especially for Nasarawa State. Last time we carried out this exercise in the year 2006, our total population in Nasarawa State, which is still being used, is 1,863,275 people. Like it was clearly mentioned, between Panda, Karu, Mararaba, Masaka, Wike, before you even get to Kefi, you have more than 1.8 million people. And so, by the nation continuously using 1.8 million people, it is denying us a lot of opportunities. And since this administration came, I will tell you we have not rested. Because we believe if there is any state that is being shortchanged, Nasarawa State is more shortchanged than any other state in the Federation.
The governor says he is hopeful that the next census will capture the actual population in the state. He wants those who have the habit of traveling back to their states of origin during census to desist from such acts.
Nasarawa and Lagos are the two states that are suffering from this problem. So I'm appealing to you, that we should continue with this sensitization exercise, our traditional rulers, our government officials who are there, our local government chairmen, to continue to appeal to them, because the essence of this is not for the state to get extra money. It's for the state to be able to manage itself. If we know that we have this number of people at a certain locations, it gives us the opportunity to plan for those kind of people in those areas. And so census is for where you live, not where you come from.
The National Population Commission assures of the commitment of the Commission to conduct a free, fair, and credible census. The Commission wants all states to take the enumeration area demarcation serious, as it forms the basis for a credible census figure.
In addition to being the foundation for the census, the national sample frame for the country is created from the EAD. The sample frame derived from the EAD is the one that is used by all data collecting organizations, including MDAs and research institutions. Furthermore, the frame is also used by international agencies, including the IMF and the World Bank, to monitor the economic and financial performance of the country. In addition to being the source of the national sample frame, there are several other deliverables from the ongoing EAD. Some of them include up-to-date list of households, buildings, socio-economic infrastructural facilities, and their georeference distribution across localities, wards, local governments, and states. The information from these outputs are useful for development planning and efficient distribution of infrastructural facilities and provision of socio-economic services. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, is also into a special arrangement with the National Population Commission, in which the NPC is assisting INEC to create digitized maps of INEC registration areas. Aside providing information invaluable for security surveillance, as well as crime detection, prevention, and facts regarding household distribution obtainable from the EAD, can be used to ameliorate the adverse effects of the ravaging COVID-19 pandemic through a more systematic contact tracing and distribution of palliatives.
The traditional institutions and local government council say they are ready to give the state the needed cooperation to achieve its goals.
We pledge to give our maximum support, cooperation to see to the success of this upcoming exercise in our various communities. And we will surely put our staff of the BPRS departments to be at the disposal of the staff that will undertake this exercise. We will also seriously undertake sensitization and enlightenment at the grassroots for our people to understand and key in to this important exercise, which will culminate into an accurate or near accurate census data for Nasarawa State.
This is the 11th phase of the enumeration area demarcation exercise. 5 local governments of Awe, Kefi, Obi, Wamba, and Akwanga have already had their own exercise. This time, 2 local governments of Kokona and Nasarawa will be having their own exercise.
Have been rolling out programs to ameliorate the plight of the downtrodden and the common man in the state. One of such is the recent enrollment of vulnerable into the National State Insurance Equity Program. Can you shed more light on this program that you just started last week?
Well, there is this healthcare provision fund, and which we got some subvention from the National Health Insurance Scheme, and the state government is to pay a counterpart fund to the scheme, and which we have done. And the idea here is to enroll the vulnerables into the health insurance scheme. Because of the passion His Excellency the Executive Governor has for the vulnerables, the downtrodden, and particularly those in special needs, he gave the directive that will pay our counterpart to the scheme, which we've done as a state. And therefore, after doing that, we decided to go all out to enroll the vulnerables, particularly those who are physically challenged, into the health scheme, which I launched last week, starting from the school, the special education, school of special needs here in Lafayette. And the idea is that we're going to go all ahead to enroll as many of those that fit into that category all around the state. And this is a scheme that we want to encourage citizens of Nasarawa State to key into the health insurance scheme, because having to spend from your pocket to procure health care sometimes is quite difficult, because most diseases don't come with any notice, and you might fall ill and you don't have the money at that time. But if you're already in a scheme, all you need to do is just go to an area of where you're registered, and you get the services to take care of your health. And we're calling on well-meaning Nigerians, citizens of the state, those who have to enroll as many people as they can in their communities. And that's a community insurance scheme. And it's just about 12,000 naira per person per year. And I'm sure that our community leaders and philanthropists and organized private sector can come in and enroll as many citizens of the state as possible into the scheme.
Right. How do you determine those who are vulnerable, and what do all persons who are enrolling into this scheme stand to benefit?
We enroll the children in this special school. They already have an area where they can go to if they fall ill. And for them, I think the Director of Specialist Hospital is there, area of the primary contact, so that any of these children, anytime they fall ill, they can just go there and they can get medical services without having to pay from their pockets. That's what they stand to benefit.
You are the chairman of the State Task Force on COVID-19 in the state. What is the government doing to ensure that we don't have a high number of cases of COVID-19 in this second wave?
We have not relented right from the beginning, and all the different units have been working ever since then, and the EOC is on top of it, and they meet very regularly, and every week the EOC meets. EOC means the Emergency Operations Center of COVID-19, and we thank the NCDC for helping us to develop the EOC to what it is now, and it's a fantastic EOC. You go in there and real-time communications are there between us here and the national body NCDC in Abuja. And now in Nasarawa State we've got an improvement to a level where we now do the tests here in Nasarawa State. Before now, we just take all our samples to Gadua, but now we test them in Bingham University, Federal Medical Center, Kefi, and the Nasarawa Specialist Hospital. And all these facilities have PCR machines, and we can, like in the one here in Lafayette, we can test up to 200 samples in a day, and the Federal Medical Center, Kefi, has a facility like that too, and so also is Bingham. So we have improved on our testing, and the teams are still there, working on contact tracing and doing testing, advocacies, and the rest of them are there. And my interest is to note that in Nasarawa State, we apart from the task force, which is central, we have other bodies that we have encouraged to form COVID-19 committees, like the State House of Assembly now has an ad hoc committee on COVID-19. The Traditional Council has its own committee on COVID-19. The religious bodies, JNI and CAN, we've encouraged them, and they've all formed COVID-19 committees at those levels. And the idea is to improve on the advocacy and continue to create awareness. Because it got to a point that a lot of people thought, initially it was like COVID-19 didn't exist. Then, okay, it exists, and like, oh, the thing has gone. And even those who are cautious seem to have dropped their guards. And we are continuing with the awareness and letting them know that this thing is not gone. It's still there with us, and we need to be even more careful now that having a second wave of it. Because this time around, the virus might come with more virulence, and many more people will go down with it. But so we're talking to our people and encouraging them to follow simple instructions. We must still maintain the social distance. We must encourage people to wash their hands like we've been told to do. People wearing face masks and what have you. So we will still keep on doing that. And the medical teams are still in place. Like I told you, the cases seem to have increased a little bit in Nasarawa State. Some 3 days ago, we had up to 20 positive cases in Nasarawa State, which is the largest number I've had in a very long time. And two days ago, so we got about 10. I think yesterday was just about 1 or 2. But it means therefore that it is here with us. And we must continue to educate ourselves and encourage ourselves to see how we can prevent this pandemic from rearing its ugly head in Nasarawa State.
All right, talking about the number of cases recorded so far, what are the plans for treatment and isolation in the state?
It got to a point where we leverage on home care for those people who were found to be positive, because just a few of them really came down with symptoms, and most of those symptoms were mild, and we thought we could manage them in their homes. Because initially we managed them in hospitals, but we saw that their symptoms, those who are coming out, their symptoms were mild, and quite a number of them were symptomless. So we thought with just home care could do it. But of recent, I found that I've been informed that a number of them have come down with quite some serious symptoms and signs, and they have to be taken into hospital. So we're managing them in the hospital, the isolation centers and Kefi, and in the latter specialist hospital here in Lafayette. And I think so far so good. I've not gotten a report of any loss of life of recent. So the health workers are working around the clock to ensuring that those patients get adequate treatment.
Winners have emerged at the first edition of Governor Abdullahi Sule Open Darts National Championship in Lafayette, the capital of Nasarawa State. The 3-day event, which had over 20 darties drawn from across the country, saw Ayuba Randi from Kaduna State clinching the gold medal, giant trophy and prize money in the men's singles category. Ugochukwu Abakwara from Delta State came second, while the duo of Makama Richard and Emmanuel Vande from Kaduna and Benue States respectively came joint third. In the women's singles category, Ruth Peter from Kaduna State emerged overall winner. Tabitha Chi from Benue State came second, while both Megizo Rehab and Mary Jato from Kaduna State came joint third.
Well, first and foremost, let me start this way. It is amazing that we have a sitting governor who have decided to pay attention to the sport development in Nigeria. And it may also interest you to know that Engineer A.A. Sule is the first governor in Nigeria that have decided to host this game of ours. We tag it Engineer A.A. Sule Dart Open Championship, because the game we are playing now is called 501, and that is the one that is recognized all over the world. And the game of that itself, in the next coming National Sports Festival, it has a 17 gold medal. So we only pick the highest one among them to just honor His Excellency on this exercise. Then we put up a list of governors before our board and begin to ask questions. Who is the man that have the love of sport in his heart? Reluctantly, one of our member, a lady, Mrs. Blessing, who have decided to say that she have gone around, she have investigated, and she have discovered that the governor of Nasarawa State has the love of developing sport in Nigeria, and in his state especially. I now ask her, okay, I am aware that Nasarawa State has a dart club, but I'm not be hearing from them. Do you think if you go there, he will react to it? She said, yes, sir, let us try. Immediately we put up a letter that we intend to do this thing this year, and we are wishing that he should sponsor the whole exercise. To our surprise, he didn't hesitate. I think the lady did not stay there for more than 1 week. He gave approval. And let me tell you, this approval was given to us less than a month. And he said that he want, no matter what, he want the federation to play the game before the end of the year.
They say it's internationally recognized. Is a beginning of more glad tidings to come in the games of darts. And we have seen enough talent which will trigger interest among our youths, particularly with this recent NSA saga, where our own never partake in it, not because of any other thing, because of the engagement the government has for them. And this is one of the positive engagement we want to embark as a drive to ensure that our youths are meaningfully and constructively engaged to add value to their lives, particularly on this new game. It's not common in the state. We're just starting. For us to host a national championship is huge, and a good one at that, for that matter.